This Nikon Z6III is exceptionally good. No surprise there really. Nikon are doing great now. They are coming up with cameras and functionality in their cameras that's innovative and puts them firmly on the hybrid camera map, right at the top again. This camera has been out for a while now, and if you want all the specs, detailed comparison and boring technical stuff, this video is not for you. Instead, I'll talk about 5 things that I absolutely love about it and 5 that I don't. I'll also show you lots of photos and videos shot with it and discuss some other features that make this camera stand out or things that are making it a little bit more desirable or more useful in more shooting situations. If you are thinking of buying this camera and can't make your mind up, watch this video first and hopefully I will be able to shed some extra light on it and make your decision either way a little bit easier. Firstly, a quick disclaimer, I've got this camera on loan from Nikon UK, but I was not asked or paid to say anything specific about it, and everything you hear and see in this video is my honest and unbiased opinion about this camera. So firstly, the things that I love about it. At 5th place, build and ergonomics. I love the original Z6 and Z6 II, but this is slightly more polished and less rough around the edges. It is designed to last. It feels solid, even though it's a still small camera. It has got nice chunky hand grip, making it really sit nicely in your hands even when you're using bigger and heavier lenses. The button layout is really good as well. They have moved the play button from left to right to the other side of the camera, easier to access with your thumb. All the buttons are customizable to your liking too. I felt instantly at home using it. I never thought that it does not feel right using it or something is in the wrong place. First time on Z6 lineup, you also get fully articulated screen now. They could have come up with a tilt and flip out solution, but this is kind of standard and expected in this class for sure. I also love the photo video mode switch, quick and easy to flip between the two, separate settings for photo and video straight out of the box as well. In some cameras you have to go to the menu to separate the photo and video settings. I also really like the top LCD screen as it allows you to see your settings without opening the screen while you're shooting with it. At 4th place is autofocus. Nikon mirrorless cameras always had very good autofocus, but this is a serious improvement. No doubts on the level, if not better. Very responsive and accurate, also very easy to use. You still have a lot of options, but they seem to be more self-explanatory and easier to choose than with most of other brands. Nikon 3D tracking is exceptional, and they have also included auto subject detection. This is great if you shoot people and animals or cars at the same time. For example, no need to go through menus to change from human to animal detection to grab a quick photo. Camera does it all for you very well. Same with video, autofocus works superbly. You have options to delay focus changes, for example, so the focus is not hunting when someone is using hands a lot or something obscures your subject for a second or two. Generally speaking, this autofocus system is as good as they get. Very impressive. My 3rd favorite feature of Z6 is the viewfinder. This is no doubt the best, the sharpest, the brightest viewfinder on the market right now. 4000 nits of brightness and 5.76 million dots, whatever that means. All I know is that coming from any other brand of camera or even older Nikons, the difference is instantly noticeable. I need to wear glasses to see better close-up, so checking photos on the LCD screen quickly while shooting is not always practical for me. I rely on EVF a lot to not only see what I am doing while shooting, but also for viewing the photos and navigating the menus sometimes. This viewfinder is simply wow. A pleasure to use it, very good. Second favorite thing is RAW video recording. Red were stopping all other brands from using internal RAW video recording for a long time. Now that Nikon actually owns Red, there is no surprise that RAW video recording internally is part of this package. 2 options here, Apple ProRes RAW and Nikon own format NEF and RAW, both 12-bit. This allows you to shoot in 6K, 60 frames per second without any crop. Huge files though, and you need DaVinci Resolve to open Nikon own RAW format files. You also get 4K 60p without any crop and 4K 120p with small crop. There's a lot of options for shooting video format wise. It is a very capable video camera, and what Nikon did, unlike many other brands, they have not made it a video or photo-centric camera at all. It is true hybrid that can do both very well, both video and photography very well, and without any compromise here. And on the first place for me must be the overall performance. It's all good to have a camera that is feature-packed, a camera that has got a lot of functions that you may never use, but what are the final results? Does it actually deliver the thing that it is designed for, capturing photos and videos? Obviously, the quality of images will hugely depend on what lens you use, the shooting conditions, and even your subject, but I can tell you that this Nikon can deliver outstanding quality results. Nikon always have done it, but now they have it polished and perfected. Nikon RAW format is not dual or lifeless like with many other brands. Photos straight from the camera almost do not need any editing. I like to shoot right in the camera. I always try to get exposure triangle as right in camera as possible, and Z6III allows me to do it better. The images it creates straight in the camera combined with that EVF and LCD screens make it easy to get it right in the first place. I do use a lot of different cameras regularly, and overall experience using this one has been noticeably different, better. Because of that, I kind of want this camera in my life a little bit more permanently. Sadly, I need to talk about a few things that I do not like here. Not things that make this camera bad or unusable, just a few things that it could be better or improved, and things that I would like to see in this camera, all related to video side of things. Fifth place, recording time limits. Not exactly a problem, but something that could be niggling at the back of your mind if you ever need to record very long video clips. The camera has got no active cooling system, so if it is too warm, it might limit your recording time. Physical recording limit here is 125 minutes, 2 hours and 5 minutes. Most of the time, you are going to run out of the battery or memory card space before you will have a problem with it, but the issue exists, even though it is not a huge problem. Fourth place, VR stabilization, vibration reduction. It works, it is okay, but not groundbreaking, not as flexible as with Lumix cameras, for example. I think this is geared up more for photography side of things. It stabilizes things, it gives you a possibility to shoot at significantly lower shutter speeds handheld, 8 stops of stabilization and stabilization of the focus point. But when it comes to video, it lacks that oomph. As I said, usable, but it will not replace a gimbal. On par with Sony cameras in my opinion, but lagging hugely behind Lumix. Third place, we have 6K 30 and 60p recording, but no full sensor readout and open gate recording. Seemingly not that important, but once you start using open gate format like with Lumix cameras, it is very hard to go back. Open gate format captures video in 4:3 format, full sensor size capture that gives you a file that can easily be cropped to 6K, 4K or HD, 16:9 standard aspect ratios, but also because it has got a little bit more on top and bottom than the standard aspect ratio, it allows you to crop into 9:16 vertical output. One file, one recording, multi-format output. Z6III can't do it, unfortunately. Maybe it is something they could add in the future with firmware updates. Who knows? Second place, no shutter angle option. This is something that theoretically could be easy for them to do with software update. Here you control the shutter speed as with photography while filming with it. It works as it should, but if you keep changing recording formats from 24 frames per second to 60 or 120 all the time, as I do, you need to keep changing the shutter speed to double of your frame rate. So if you are shooting at 60 frames per second, you need your shutter speed to be 1/20th of a second to make motion blur look natural. I personally very often forget to do that, to change the shutter speed. It is one more thing to think about when filming. With shutter angle set to 180 degrees, as with all Lumix cameras currently, all you have to do is change the frame rate and not worry about the other setting. The camera takes care of that. Not here. We get high-end video features and no shutter angle control. And the biggest issue I have with it is the fact that you can't record video externally onto SSD drive over USB. Not a big deal for most, but this camera is capable of recording 6K 60p RAW footage, very big files, and you need fast CF Express Type B cards for it. They are not cheap. You need to spend hundreds of pounds or dollars for 512GB cards or bigger, and they will only give you a few minutes recording time each. Easy solution would be if the camera could record video onto fast external SSD via USB-C. Fast SSD drives are significantly cheaper than cards and can have bigger capacity. So if you need to record video in the highest possible quality with this camera, you are literally limited to short recording times per card and very high extra cost to make it possible. I'm surprised that they have not included that functionality here. One more thing that is different than with pretty much all other brands is the image area in camera crop. I very often shoot photos in 16:9 aspect ratio, but when I bring them into Lightroom, the crop is only superficial. I can cancel it or move it up or down. With this camera and all Nikons, all the in-camera crops are permanent. That's it, no changing your mind after the fact. Overall, this camera is amazing, the best in this class in my opinion. I can't really fault it for photography at all. There's a lot of people talking about its partially stacked sensor and the loss of dynamic range because of that. Yes, maybe, but in the real world situations, it's not something that 99% of photographers or filmmakers will ever have to worry about. They've included this technology to improve the overall readout speed of the sensor and to minimize the rolling shutter, and all of it works well. Very clean output at the base values of dual ISO at ISO 100 and 6400. Simply, if it is too dark and you are not sure what ISO to use, stick it at ISO 6400 and you can't go wrong. You can shoot photos at 120 frames per second with it, but that's only in 10 million pixel mode JPEG. I guess better than nothing, and with that speed you literally can't miss the shot if missing the shot is something you are concerned about. You also get very decent pre-burst modes when shooting RAW, so you are really covered. You get very good 14 frames per second performance shooting RAW with mechanical shutter and 20 frames per second with electronic. Impressive. This is something not often seen in cameras, is the horizontal or vertical screen info display. Simple but very useful function to make everyday shooting with it easier and more enjoyable. Only works in photo mode, not when shooting video, unfortunately. Would I buy this camera? Absolutely yes, although Nikon targets the real pros with their bigger and more expensive Z8 and Z9 cameras, this, combined with the right lenses, is really capable of delivering outstanding and professional results across the board. Highly recommended. And this is it from me. Thank you for watching, and see you next time.